Hi. Tonight I want to talk about being different. Because I think a lot of people are. And you wish that you weren't like that. You wish that you were normal, for lack of a better word. And I know what that feels like. And I'm just going to talk about this from my own perspective because, once again, this person, Kelly, is the only one whose life I've got front row seats to, so it makes sense. I can't tell you about anybody else's experience, only my own. But being different. So you can probably tell from an early age already that you are different. Either because you look different, or you were born with something, anything that's different, or you think differently, your brain works differently. Whatever it is, you know that you're different. And I guess you kind of wonder, does everyone else feel the same way about themselves? And honestly, I still don't know the answer to that today. Do they? Does everyone feel this way? I don't know. But very often, if you're different in any kind of way, you are kind of an outcast. You just are. And these are the experiences that you have, most likely very early on. And so me too. I felt very early on that I was different somehow. You know, I didn't have many friends, and I was not part of any peer group, really. It's so funny to think about. You know, people often say, don't follow the peer pressure or whatever. And it's like, you know, for people like us, I'm assuming you're also different in some kind of way. That's why you're watching this. For people like us, it's kind of like peer pressure. It's hard to feel peer pressure if there are no peers around. But that actually ends up helping you later on because, and I'm going to get into this too, but there's a reason we are this way. It's on purpose. There's a law of attraction perspective to that too. But anyway, I could tell early on too that like I'm different in some kind of way, but I couldn't really put it in words. It was just kind of a general feeling. And so I could tell I'm not everybody's cup of tea, clearly. And even now, like I'm sure you can tell if you're looking at me, not everyone looks this way. I mean, today, yeah, I'm dressed in all black. I do sometimes wear other colors too, but this is one of my favorites. And I got piercings in my face, and I got a weird haircut. And I got some blue in my hair, you can see. It's so hard to see in my videos now because it's so damn dark. And the camera doesn't really make it out that well. But I do still have colored hair. But anyway, if you look something like this, that's not for everyone. You know, everyone's not gonna like this. And some people might be like, you know, why do you look like this? Or why can't you be normal? Why can't you look like a normal person? And this is not even, I mean, This is just what I think, but I don't think it's that bad. I mean, I don't think it's bad at all, but the people who would be like, why can't you look normal? I mean, there are people out there who look even more different than this. Like, this feels like nothing. But even this, you look like this, you're gonna get stared at. This has been the case all my life. Just getting stared at. And it's not really, because I'm so introverted. And to me, I'm not trying very hard to look like this. This is just me being me. It's what I like. It's how I am. So for me, I am just like existing. I'm just existing here in this world. And when people stare at me, it feels uncomfortable, especially because I'm so introverted. And my profession is an actor. So I like attention if it's like I'm on stage and doing something. Or I guess if I'm talking about something that I consider important or that could help a lot of people, then in that case, yeah, I'm okay if I'm getting attention. But if I'm just like existing in the world somewhere, just being, I don't really like to get stared at. But this is kind of just human nature. We are hardwired to notice the thing that looks different from the environment or from other people. So it's not that people are like doing this on purpose to like make me uncomfortable. It's just that it's human nature. Somebody walks in that looks like something that you're not used to, maybe. Yeah, you're gonna look at that. That's just naturally gonna get your attention. And I have looked all my life like different versions of this. I haven't always looked like this, obviously, but I have looked like different versions of this. Not because I have tried really hard to be like this, but because it's just me. It's what I like. I've mentioned this before in one of my older videos. It's like, why do I look like this? If I go to a store to pick out clothes or something for myself, I pick out the things that I like, and I'm sure it's the same way for you. You go to the store, you pick out the things that you like, and you don't really go, why am I picking these things instead of these other things? And if you are doing that in the middle of the store, then you're probably having some kind of spiritual awakening. Just standing there thinking, why am I picking these things instead of these other things? And if you are having one, then here's a video you could watch about that. But, generally you just pick out the things that you like and you don't really give it a second thought. They're just things that you like. So you might be like me. Maybe you look different in some kind of way. Or maybe your brain is just different. I am pretty certain that I am neurodivergent in some kind of way, but I haven't been diagnosed with anything. So I always feel like I can't say it very loudly because I got no paper to show you for that. But I do have my own life experience. And I do have my own therapist to kind of confirm it for me, even though she can't diagnose me, without like a proper process. They can't do that. But they can give you their professional opinion, I guess. So there's that. Anyway, you might be like that too. Which means that in some kind of way, your brain is different. You don't process things the same way that many other people do, and you don't understand things the same way that many other people do. Like, for me, in terms of like how my brain understands things, I have just always felt like I see something different about every situation. I have like some different way of understanding it. And I guess today I'm trying to share it on this channel, because sometimes it can be helpful to see things in that kind of way. And this also goes into like me being spiritual and stuff, and me talking about the law of attraction and all that. This is, by nature being different, because a lot of people are not going to be talking about things like that. They're not going to be seeing things in this kind of way. And so, but this is how my brain works. And it's really taken a long time for me to be like, this is how my brain works, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's just different. And the way that your brain works, that might actually be your strength. But I'm sure it maybe doesn't feel that way because you've had so many experiences in life where people have put you down for this, or told you to, stop being that way, or it doesn't, the things you think or the things you say or the things you do, they don't make sense. Or other people don't do that, so you need to stop doing that too. Or nobody likes that, so you need to get rid of it. It's not really the case. We did not come here to be the same as everybody else. And this is the law of attraction perspective that I'm going to get into now. We didn't come here to be the same. This world is obsessed with sameness, yeah. They kind of want to make everybody the same, because then you're easier to, I guess, control and stuff. But we are creators of our own reality. We are not perpetuators of sameness. And so, from our higher perspective, your higher self and all that, we all understand that. Everybody, even the ones who are trying to make you be the same. They are just being distortions of themselves, and so therefore right now they don't understand it. They have forgotten. Because when they came here, others beat it out of them. So now they're not being themselves. And so now they're kind of trying to do the same thing to us. We did not come here to be the same. Because number one, it would be hella boring, if you ask me. And number two, that doesn't add anything to the expansion of the universe, which is kind of like the main reason that we're here. Yes, we are here to create the lives that each of us wants to live, any kind of life that you want. You're here to create it. But there's also this other thing where your preferences and your differences add to the expansion of the universe. The universe is better off for it. And we all understand that from our higher perspective. This is why when you come here and you're different, in whatever way, and probably in, several different ways. But whatever those ways are, you are different because you are here to remind others that this is the way that it's supposed to be. Really, you are here to be yourself, to remember who you are, to, I guess, relearn it, because yeah, others train you out of this very, very quickly because it's been done to them and they don't know anything else. You're here to teach that it's okay to be different, and it's the way that things are supposed to be, and that this is a good thing, and that this is a strength, and that everybody else can be themselves too. And I get it. I get that it's difficult to be your different self if everyone has told you that it's wrong somehow, or you don't make sense. It's difficult to be yourself then if you don't make sense according to other people. But you have to be yourself if you want to find people that you do make sense to, because I promise you they are there. But if you're not being yourself, they can't find you, because law of attraction just won't bring you two together. Because you need to be yourself and they need to be themselves. Really themselves, not some kind of distortion. And then you can meet up, because you can only meet up with others who are being like how you are being, or how you generally feel. Because everybody else is just a reflection of your inner state. So whatever you think about yourself is going to be reflected back to you from everybody else. So if you don't like your differences, or you wish that they would go away, what are you going to attract? You're going to attract people who don't understand your differences, people who bully you for your differences. And your differences won't go away because they're meant to be this way. You're meant to be this way. It's your strength. The way that my brain works, for example, and the stuff that I talk about here, it's not going to make sense to everyone. There's as far as my own personal experience goes so far, there's two kinds of people with this, with how my brain works. Either, and the stuff that I talk about, either they are this is complete nonsense, makes no sense at all. I am off in the clouds somewhere and I need to be brought back down to earth, brought back down to reality. Because I've clearly gone off track somewhere. This is broadly how they feel, or it doesn't make sense to them, and they don't agree with any of the stuff. And some of them just don't want to hear about it. They're so uncomfortable by these things that I say that they don't want to hear about it. They're like, don't tell me that. Don't talk to me about that stuff. That's one set of people. And the other set of people are like, oh my God, where has this been all my life? They feel like they have struck some kind of gold with this. And then I have some friends with like this, where I'm like, it's like no matter what I say, it somehow ends up being helpful to them. Somehow I know what to say, even though I'm not being like, what do I need to say to this person to help them or anything? I am just being myself, and I'm just expressing whatever I am thinking. And to them, somehow is immensely helpful. One of my friends the other day said that they feel like I am their personal channeler or something, which I thought was really funny. Yeah. I'm your personal channeler. I'm channeling the truths of the universe to you. And they're one of these people who's just like, this is absolute gold to me. So there's no in between. It's either they're like this or they're makes no sense to me. So, but this is just how my brain works. And it's been difficult for me to accept that this is how my brain is. That's how I think. And for a long time, I thought that there was no value in this at all. I just thought that this is crazy because not many people are talking about things in this way. And I'm not the only one who is talking about this in this way and sees things in this way. But there aren't that many. So it's not common. And so then I would feel like must be something wrong with me that I am so interested in this stuff and that I think about things in this way. And you might have something like that too. But now I've kind of started to understand that this is my strength. I guess I am meant to share some way about this, either to the world or to my own friends and family or whoever comes into contact with me and wants to know about these things. It's kind of like the way that I think, it's kind of my thing. In this lifetime, it's my thing. And because I know a lot about this stuff, then it's actually my strength. And you might have something like that yourself. This different way of seeing things. Maybe you see some kind of connections in things that other people can't see, or things that they miss, or you see some kind of signs. I don't know, you could be like a psychic medium or something like that. That's really cool. But it's not common. So you might feel like I am crazy because of the experiences that I have. But this is the stuff that it comes with you through life. You can't get rid of it. And you may try to hide it or shrink it somehow or, keep it under wraps. But it's like your main thing somewhere inside yourself. This is my main thing. This is the thing that I'm actually interested in. And maybe I wish that I was brave enough to share about this or talk about this. But I just don't know if it's useful to anyone or if anyone would care about it. Or if people would just think that I'm crazy. I can promise you there's somebody out there that does care about this. And really wants this. Really wants you to share about that thing. Whatever it is. And this thing is probably your strength. It's probably tied somehow to your life purpose, basically. These things that we have that make us different, but that are kind of our things that we can't really get rid of. Very often it turns out this is literally about your life purpose. That's why you are this way. That's why it doesn't go away. You can't wish this thing away because you're supposed to, at some point, go on this journey of embracing this thing. And then once you are doing that, then you can present it to the world and help the world somehow with this thing, whatever it is, whatever your difference is. And you could also be somebody who feels very different inside, but maybe outwardly you're trying to live a life that is like normal, or the standard of what I guess a life should look like, because we have all these rules in the society about what your life needs to look like and what is the normal sequence of events. And I think it's just a trap. It's just a trap to try and make you be the same as everybody else. I don't have a normal sequence of events in my life. And it's very interesting, even when I've tried, before I got like this, tried to have a normal sequence of events, like when I was in school and stuff, it just didn't work. It just didn't work for me. might work for other people, didn't work for me. And so this is like another dead giveaway that you're supposed to be your different self, because as much as you try to be normal, as much as you try to fit in and live some kind of life that you don't really want to live, but other people around you want that for you, or maybe you wanted to live it at some point and now you don't. As much as you try to be that version of you who lives this kind of life, you can't even really be it. Because you feel the constant discord inside yourself, because a part of you knows this is not the life that I'm supposed to be living. Ever, or just now. It's not the life that I'm supposed to be living now. And then it can be very difficult to, especially if you've already built a life based on something like that, it can be difficult, to say the least, to give that up. Because you don't know, what does this life, as the true me, as the different me, what does this life look like? You don't know. You have to go blindly into it, and then you will find out what it looks like. And I can bet with everything I've got that it would actually be better for you. It would serve you better, because it's the life you were always meant to live. Or it's the life that you have come to understand that you are meant to live. You've come to understand this now. But you're still there in your old life, and you're feeling the discord. And so then kind of have to ask yourself, how long am I willing to put up with this if I know that this is not for me? Or it's not for me anymore. Maybe it was for me at some point, it's not for me anymore. How long am I willing to put up with this? It's difficult to give that up, because if you've never been your different self, fully embodied it, then you don't know what it's like. So you're scared. And the other people around you don't know what that's like. And they're going to have reactions. If you do decide to actually be yourself, they're going to have reactions to that, and you may not like the reactions. But you would know in your heart that this is what you have to do, because this is who you are. And honestly, you can't get away from who you are, because you came here to be who you are, with whatever differences you've got or have discovered throughout life. Even if it's totally different from what you expected. You expected your life to look a certain way, and now it doesn't look that way. Or it's changing in some kind of way, and you don't know where it's going. Or it has to change. You can feel it has to change. And you don't know what it's going to look like. That's scary. But there is a point to this. This, redirection is going to get you to who you actually are. This different self, who you really are. And the life that you're meant to be living. But yeah, you do have to be brave enough to do this. To decide, I'm going to see what this is like. I'm going to see who I really am. I'm going to stop being afraid of myself, because being, pretending to be something, or trying to hide yourself, or trying to convince yourself that I am some way that I am actually not, or listening to other people tell you something about yourself, you can feel it doesn't feel good. You feel the discord, because your higher self is already here being this real, true you. And it's kind of dragging you along. Like you can't like sever yourself from your higher self. And your higher self will never join you in some kind of distortion. Because it knows what you're supposed to be now, who you're supposed to be now, and what your life is supposed to be like. And it's not like your higher self has decided that you are supposed to be this, and you have no choice in this matter, and that your life is supposed to be this, because I, your higher self, have decided. No, this is, you have lived your life, and you have come to preferences about what you now want from where you now are, and who you now want to be, and what you now want to explore. And your higher self is already there with those things. And it's just dragging you, like, when are you coming? And you not being your true different self fully, it's just you being like, no, I don't want to go, but your higher self is going to keep on pulling you along. It's not going to stop. And this discord, this bad feeling is not going to go away until you go. Until you decide, I've had enough of this. It's not me. And I care about my happiness more than I care about people saying or wanting this or that for me. Because I came here to be who I am. And I came here to teach that I cannot be made to conform to something that I'm not. So I'm not going to conform. Because I'm not meant to, and nobody is meant to. And other people may have forgotten this, but, well, I am here to remind them. And so basically, your differences, you are meant to be this way. And you're meant to embrace these things. Because you're here to teach something to others. You're here to remind them of who they really are. By being who you really are. And so this is why I have made this video, to hopefully try and remind you of who you really are. You're not really supposed to be trying to get rid of these differences. And before I end this video, I'm just going to make a side note here, like in terms of your appearance, for example, because I do know that people do change their appearance and all that. And you know, my belief is kind of like everybody looks the way that they are supposed to look. But if they make some kind of difference, that was supposed to happen too. So if you decide to change something about yourself because you feel that this is more you, this is actually more you, then you were always supposed to do that too. That is also teaching others the same thing, that you're just here to be yourself. You're supposed to be you, whatever you is. And this is why we have these differences. So, I hope that this has been helpful to you somehow, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.